Yeah. And speaking of Travis Bazzana, of course, Golden Spikes semifinalist that he was named to the list. Was that today? I think it was
That was it.
today.
Yep. Yep.
And there's, the semifinalists. You think semifinalists? There's four,
That's what I thought when I looked it up.
and then you look and there's like 44 people as a
Yeah.
semifinalist.
Yeah.
I don't understand the math. All I know is that 142 with an extra empty integer of 0 is 1,420, which is essentially 1,000 times better than 420, even if it's not a multiplier. Don't correct my math. And Travis Bazzana is a Golden Spikes finalist, semifinalist, should be finalist, will be finalist.
Yeah.
I think his only his only contest with this award will come down to probably the three other guys who are in the conversation of the MLB draft. And Hagen Smith, right? Arkansas's pitcher who struck us out 17 times in Texas. Jock Caglione, who has just been slugging the shit out of the ball. Same with Charlie Condon and Nick Kurtz. And those are probably the top four, prospects for the MLB draft.
Yep.
They're easily the top four favorites, along with Bazzana, to win the Golden Spikes award. But I gotta say, I think from all of these guys, look, Caglione he's unique. He's a two-way player. You don't see that very often anymore. Everyone wants to be the next Ohtani. Everyone wants to find the next Ohtani. Every reporter wants to report on the next Ohtani. Every fan wants to encourage the next two-way player Ohtani. So I could see that being a big storyline for why this kind of fan voting centric award might go his way. But I gotta say, like, what Travis Bazzana brings to the field every single game as a leadoff hitter, as a power hitter, as a base stealer, like, he just has all the characteristics and traits of the top player in college baseball. I've repeated this maybe every week for the last 8-10 weeks. I still firmly believe that Travis Bazzana should be the number one pick in MLB draft. I still firmly believe that he will be, but this award does carry a lot of weight in the eyes of GMs and scouts. For whatever reason, there is a lot that gets put on who ends up being the Golden Spikes award winner. So he's named as a semifinalist. Benny, what do you think are the odds of him taking home the award?
Dude, I don't know. I think so MLB.com put out their latest mock draft on 16th of this month, and Travis Bazzana is projected as the number one pick, as he should be. And I think a number of reasons. First, his defense is overshadowed by his offense, and his defense is elite. And the other thing, so if you look at the other player who I think is really who it's going to be between Travis and this other player, Charlie Condon from Georgia, he's projected to go second, and his numbers are a little bit better than Travis's, but I also think like he plays outfield and third base a little bit, but primarily outfield. And you can most of the league's best hitters are going to be playing in the outfield, right? And you don't have.
But if you get an infielder,
exactly, you don't have a lot of second basemen that are slugging the ball the way that Travis Bazzana is. So, in terms of being the most valuable player to their team, like Travis Bazzana is light years ahead of anyone. But I don't think that that's how the Golden Spike Award is given out. But to your point, the two-way player, Joe how do you say his last name?
Caglione. Caglione.
I do think, like, to your point, reporters want to report on it, fans want to cheer it. I would imagine the Golden Spike Award voters would think that it's a novelty at the very least to have a player, especially in this sort of climate, that's a two-way player to win the award. You could see it as like sort of a sign of the changing times, I guess, as you see more of these players come up. So I do think that there's a lot of variables that go into it, and I don't think that is it's neither a projection of where Travis Bazzana is going to end up in the draft, nor a true representation of if he's the MVP, the most valuable player, at least to his team. And I think like at the end of the day, right, like most valuable player would be the player that you value the most. And even though you have other players that are putting up better hitting numbers than Travis, like you have to take his position into account and his defense too. Like his defense is elite, and an elite at a level that you just can't have the same impact on the game as an outfielder as in terms of defense as you do as a second baseman.
Yep. So looking back, like I mentioned, though, looking back at the, I don't know, the last 20 Golden Spikes Awards winners. So in 2003, Brewers great Ricky Weeks, who was a second baseman, won Golden Spikes Award.
Okay.
And then after that, it's been mostly pitchers or catchers or outfielders that have brought the award home. But the name with the award matters because, like, if you go to the draft, I don't know if it's that the voters for the award get it right, or the MLB scouts use it like for leverage to convince their owners or somebody like why they should draft this guy. Maybe there's a celebrity value involved. I'm not sure. But so Ricky Weeks, 2003. Then we got Jared Weaver, Alex Gordon, the GOAT, Timmy Lincecum, and David Price, Buster Posey, the other GOAT, Steven Strasburg, Bryce Harper, Trevor Bauer, Mike Zeno, Chris Bryant, who's had an incredible MLB career, AJ Reed, Andrew Benintendi, Kyle Lewis, Brendan McKay, Andrew Vaughn, the GOAT as of now, Adley Rutschman.
Yeah.
And then you got the younger guys, Kevin Kopps, Ivan Mendelez, and Dylan Cruz. But, like, think about those names and think about how many of them are in the MLB, not just made it to the MLB, but have been impact players in the MLB. And this award is either telling or it is self-serving for which players become the dudes in the MLB. Not to say that any runner-ups didn't make it and didn't have a great career, but there's like you solidify yourself in the eyes of baseball fans, baseball scouts, in the memory books, in the history books, in the record books as that guy from college.
Yeah.
Where a lot of this stuff gets lost in translation. A lot of your production gets lost or forgotten. Because if you go pro and you're great, everyone remembers how great you were as a pro. If you go pro and you were nothing, you might be remembered for a couple years as a bust, but it's the MLB. Everyone's a bust. Literally everybody that gets drafted is a bust. So if you want to solidify yourself, you get this award. And then if you get this award, historically, you're going to be a dude in the MLB for a long time.
Yeah. I don't know if there was one of those players that I didn't recognize as having a decent MLB career, and a lot of them were stars in Major League Baseball until you got to the players that were drafted after Adley. Because I'm sure you might
3
have
years
one
ago.
right that might have gotten some big league at bats, but it would have been a few last year or maybe this year. But yeah, I mean dude, you're in good company if you win that award. And I do think that I'm sorry, not Adley. Adley deserved his too, but I think Travis has more than shown that he is deserving of this award. And even if he doesn't win it, I don't think there is a scenario out there where Travis Bazzana is not a hugely impactful player for whatever team that he goes for.
I agree. I don't see this determining his success in the MLB by any means.
Yeah.
But I do acknowledge that those who did get the award, even if their MLB careers fizzled out or didn't pan out as great as they could, their names were always known. They were
Yeah.
always discussed. They will be always remembered. And getting in the media spotlight with an award like the Golden Spikes Award before you've even gone professional carries so much weight
Yep.
for just the way that people will remember you as a ball player. And I do feel that Travis Bazzana not only will get there, but I think at the very minimum deserves that. Deserves that.
100%.
And I think he deserves it from Oregon State fans too. I think the Oregon State fans need to be open to the idea that Travis Bazzana could be as good, if not maybe end up in the grand scheme of things better than Adley Rutschman. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but you have to accept that that is a possibility. Like there's nothing about his productivity that would tell me he couldn't do that to this point. So
Dude, yes.
if you're just going to deny everything he does from this point forward, then you're doing a disservice to yourself as a fan. You're doing a disservice to Travis Bazzana. You're doing a disservice to Adley Rutschman, who probably would very much welcome any sort of competition for the role or the reign of the Oregon State baseball GOAT, because that man was clearly driven by competition. So, like, why ignore this? That he could be one of the best we've seen.
Dude, Adley Rutschman could very well go down in history as like a top 15 catcher in all of Major League Baseball, right? And
Yep.
Travis Bazzana, look, he hasn't proven himself on an MLB field, so we don't know. But all signs are pointing to him being a very, very special player. I think his college career put side by side next to Adley, I think you'd have to give the edge to Travis on that.
Yeah,
and I don't
for
think
the numbers
you receive
wise
much argument there. So
well, no, the argument comes from he plays the middle infield position. So what?
Right.
Like Adley was a catcher. He had to handle the staff and hit. And I get that. But the catchers these days aren't just catchers.
Right.
Like star catchers are your best player. That's why they're star catchers.
Yeah.
Like
100%.